Hey there, Katherine from Cornbread Hemp. Thanks so much for joining today. Really excited to learn about you, what you've done with Cornbread Hemp, and then how Because has fit into your conversion rate optimization and personalization efforts on your Shopify store. So first, if we could just get a brief intro on you and what you do and what Cornbread Hemp is.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much. So I'm Katherine. I'm the director of retention over here at Cornbread Hemp. So I oversee kind of all things retention, help out on the e-com side, and just the overall customer life cycle for our customers that come through. So here at Cornbread Hemp, we are a premium CBD company. So we make everything in-house. We have some amazing customers, and we're just kind of out there to let our customers live the best life that they can, providing sleep, relief, recovery, anything that we can help just to kind of aid our customers in having and living the best life possible.
Very cool. And so the form factor, the product is CBD gummies, tinctures, oils, balms, creams, anything to help with those different challenges. So if we could just start with some of the challenges that you were experiencing in terms of conversions before implementing Because, and how you identified that you even had a need to focus on those problems.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge for us was really like dynamically customizing our experience for our customers. So, like conversion wise, we would have customers kind of coming through from paid sites, whether that's ads or socials, or coming through from our emails, just a lot of different touch points, and we weren't able to like dynamically follow the customer on their journey on the site to convert them in the best way possible. So that's where really Because came into play. Our web developer, he's a really great guy, is actually the one who sourced out Because, connected with Ashlyn, the founder, and really just had amazing things to say. It was like, this is probably like one of the greatest solves dynamically for you guys. So we were like, yeah, like let's check it out. Checked it out. And honestly, like after implementing it, working really closely with Mark and Ashlyn over there, we've just seen a lot of like really great, we're A/B testing everything, but really, really great results with everything that we put on the site to dynamically follow our customer's journey at every touch point.
Very cool. So was this something that your developer had to do manually, or was it taking away from his other efforts in terms of like site development?
So it was something that we identified the gap. And so we just like weren't like manually we had like an announcement bar, we had some copy in different sections on the page, like updating manually like the collection page copy every time we had a sale, and like PDP updates on our product pages like in the copy there. So there was just a gap as to like all of these manual updates we were making every time there was a campaign switch over or something like that, and we really didn't have a solve. And it wasn't until Because came into play that we were like, wow, we could do that.
If we could be more specific, I'd love to learn more about what you envision following the customer on the site through their customer journey. So what that looked like, and then how you're able to improve it in terms of like from what the customer's perspective was, so that they understood that they were getting a more personalized shopping experience.
Yeah, that's a great question. So for us, there's a lot of like, we have a lot of different solves for what our customer comes to shop for. So mainly what they're coming for is to find relief for any kind of discomfort they're having, or something that's just happening in their life where CBD can assist and really like help them live a good life, basically, right? So we have a quiz on site that kind of like gives customers recommendations. This was the biggest like touch point that Mark actually had us set up. And this is a really great example for us. So whenever you take the quiz, you have like a category of results, basically. So if you go through, we'll be like, you qualify for a relief product or a sleep product or a recovery product. So basically what I'm trying to say is gathering that customer data and being able to show it back to them on the site in a banner of like, shop these products, so they're not overwhelmed with all of the selections, and it's more tailored of an experience for them. So we're trying to really like minimize like the overwhelming response of like, which one is right for me, which one should I try. I don't want to spend all of this time clicking and reading reviews and everything like that, and really give them a seamless experience to get them into our ecosystem and try products. So one of the biggest things we did was A/B test based on a customer's quiz results, a couple of banners, and we're actually still A/B testing them because we've got some really interesting results from this, and it's actually really cool. We never would have known this without doing it with Because. Is based on their quiz results, we'll show them a banner of like, hey, like you should shop in this specific collection. And we're using a couple different brand colors to see which ones resonate with our customer better, to get them to engage with the Because banner at the top of our site, to go and convert. And we're noticing like with different collections, so you would find somebody who's looking for recovery, maybe from exercising, and then somebody who's looking for sleep, so they're really trying to get their rest at night. Two different psychological personas of those customers are resonating with two different colors. So it's not like a one size fits all, which I think is like the coolest thing. And then the other thing as well, something that was really important from like an upper management, was being able to test basically control of not showing this banner to really see what an impact Because is doing, and then actually showing the Because banner to show like, hey, this is actually working for our customers. So another example would be our abandoned cart customers. We actually do like a 50-50 split on if they've abandoned the carts. We have our control group of like half of them don't see that, and then half of them do see a banner of like, hey, go shop now before your cart expires kind of situation. So it's really cool to literally drive through what our customers experience was before Because, aka the 50% that's not getting the Because experience, versus the customer experience with the Because experience, and seeing our conversion rate drive up and our AOV as well. So AOV is a big focus for us. We definitely want customers to convert at a higher average order volume. We want them to try a couple of products that are right for them, or really fall into our ecosystem and create a wellness routine, not just like a buy one product and then maybe we'll see you again. So we've definitely seen our AOV go up. It used to hover around like mid 60s. And then with our interaction with the Because banners, we're seeing AOVs up over 70s and into 80s, 90s, which is really, really great.
Great. So that's like maybe a 30 to 50% increase in average order value based on sending them to a collection based on what their needs are. So if at a high level I can summarize the strategy, you are capturing their zero-party data with a quiz, and I checked it looks like it's an Octane quiz that goes to Klaviyo, and then you're creating dynamic segments in Klaviyo, say for example if it's a sleep problem or if it's a recovery problem with muscle joints. And then from there, those segments are being used by Because so that you can guide them based on what their stated problems are, and then give them the most appropriate Cornbread Hemp products.
Yep, exactly. And it's really cool because it mirrors our strategy for our customer retention and lifecycle comms as well. So we use that data to target customers via their email inbox of like, these are products that we would recommend for you based on the data that we do have on you. So it's really nice that that actually follows through on their on-site experience as well.
Now, you mentioned that you had a lead developer who initiated all this. Can you explain the process of actually implementing Because the site, and then what resources are required, his involvement, her involvement, in order to get it live?
Yeah, I apologize. It's going to be such a short explanation because we had Mark as our like onboarding manager who like gave such an in-depth like explanation and was really I don't know like really how to like tell you, but like he was just so amazing that like we didn't really have to do anything. We met with Mark and Mark was like, here's how this worked, here's how this worked, and we would just like all hit him with like, oh, but what about this idea? What about this idea? And he's like, yeah, of course we can make that happen. And we're just honestly like on a call while he's making it happen, and then afterwards we're going in. And I think that that's the most amazing part, is having the Because team like be so receptive to our ideas, taking our product feedback, which was very minimal. We were just like, well, what about this? What about that? And being able to just immediately implement it into these campaigns. The other thing with that made it so easy is I just am able to go in and duplicate campaigns that have already been set up for us and just change over some rules and some copy. We've done that with some flash sale promos. So a big one for us was like the Prime Day sale. So, you know, a lot of D2C customers replicate Prime sale. We're not on Amazon, but we did do like a site-wide on our D2C site sale. So with that, we actually implemented, I just duplicated some things that Mark had made for us and changed it over, and I set the schedule. So what was amazing about it is after I duplicated it, tested it, scheduled it, it turned on by itself, it turned off by itself, and it followed the customer journey through the site to make sure that they had the promo details. We had two different promos running. It was an either or, so they could choose at any time and have the right promo code to enter for a seamless checkout experience as they went through it. And then it automatically turned off over the weekend whenever it was done, so I didn't have to log on the weekend and turn it off and do all that jazz. So it was amazing. Basically, Mark is a god and we would not be here without him. He loves his job and we love him for it.
Now, you shared some really great examples with the quiz, with Prime Day, and different campaigns. Any particular use case or campaign that might have had the biggest impact on the site or conversion rate or AOV?
Yeah, I think honestly the promo specific campaign was the fastest turnaround. So we're doing some longer term A/B testing on a lot of the other items just to see like where our branding falls into play and what some best practices are. So we've been kind of monitoring those and keeping track. And like I said, the results for each one are kind of a little bit different. So it really just goes to show you like the different customer segments, how they interact with our site. It's not like a one size fits all and what they respond to. That being said, the promo definitely had like the biggest impact of like just showing up for the customer, being there kind of to handhold them through their whole purchasing process. And I think with that, our conversion rate was definitely higher to convert them on those promos. The biggest one is we ran like a one-time promo. So if you come and you buy this product, just this one time, you'll get this 1% off. Versus we ran a subscription promo, which is our primary way we want to acquire customers, right? We want them to come back. We want them to auto ship, get their stuff on repeat. And that subscription promo, normally when I would do that before via email, we wouldn't see a lot of subscribers. We saw a lot more subscribers. I mean, substantially enough that I'm like, wow, like this definitely made an impact. And I haven't seen them drop off over the past like month or two since we ran that, which is awesome that we're still retaining them with that initial promo that got them into that auto ship.
Can you explain a little bit of the mechanics of how that worked? How you actually like the copy changes or placement or targeting?
Yeah. So with it, like we were like, gosh, like what do we do? So we had copy change wise for the two promos. We actually just like showed both of the promos at the same time because we wanted to give the customer the choice of like, do I want to take advantage of this flash sale or do I want to subscribe and save? We used actually some really cute little like corn and bread emojis to separate the promos. So we had like the one time promo and then we inserted some emojis in and we had the second promo. And that was mainly for separating them on like the announcement bar that stayed above on the homepage or the collection page while the customers were doing more of a mass browse. On the product page itself, what I think is really cool is there's like these little icons that you can put to the right or left or really wherever, like a little sale icon or something. So we used a little sale icon like a price tag. And I think that, you know, there's so much copy everywhere you go on the web, that little icon really like grab the customer's attention to pull over like, oh, promo. And then that got them to read the copy and then make their purchase decision.
Great to hear. Now, let's talk numbers to the extent we can talk about them. AOV for that one campaign increased maybe 30 to 50% from 60 to 80 or 90. Any other measurable improvements, maybe conversion rate AOV, that you've had from different campaigns that we can discuss?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest ones that we like, we really look at all the data because we want to know like what amount of customers are actually seeing this and clicking and engaging. AOV is like the biggest, best result that we have seen since we've implemented this, which has been amazing, but also tracking our conversion rate across the bar. So, you know, normally like conversion rates are pretty slow, but we're able to see like a solid like 5 to 10%, which is quite a range of our conversion rate. And add to cart rate is actually up, which is amazing. And then overall, that does drive revenue up too. But on average, I'd say our add to cart rate sits around 11% just from adding to cart with interaction with because. So I would say that that's a big, you know, without having the because banners, customers are just automatically being influenced to add to cart based on their preference. Now they're being kind of guided with every kind of because touch point, which is driving up our add to cart percentage.
Got it. So is that a 10 to 11% increase, or that's a
Off the top of
total?
my mind, I don't remember what our add to cart rate was prior to implementing because I want to say like just like we mainly tracked like our conversion rate, so that's the best way to show the growth. But overall with like these smaller percent like quiz results, for example, seeing, you know, in the past 30 days that x amount of people have viewed quiz results and 13, 12, 11% of the customers who have viewed that bar have added to cart is such a great like percentage of our customers to show that they're actually engaging and reading that content. And then it also shows that the quizzes are performing very well and customers want that curated content too.
Yeah, one of the campaigns that tends to be very successful for brands, but especially successful for Cornbread, was an abandoned cart campaign, where we just did a top bar, kind of like a below the navigation on this site. We tie it to Klaviyo's segment. If Klaviyo segment is abandoned cart, and then we just check on the because rules, it's tied to that segment, and the user still has an item in cart. So that way, just in the off chance they come from a different device, they have to have at least one item in cart, and then they're in this abandoned cart segment. We use very normal messaging of like items in your cart are selling fast to just help drive urgency. But when we're looking at the data between the two, I won't share specific revenue lift or anything like that, but in terms of conversion rate, when both users qualified, right? Both users are in the control and the test, have items that they've abandoned in their cart. When users came on the site and didn't see because messaging, versus those who came on site and saw that bar, that little, top bar with that because messaging, it was about 2.5 conversion point rate change. So it's a 2.5 point change positively when they saw that message that said items in your cart are selling fast, to help drive that good sense of urgency that feels true to the Cornbread brand. And then the add to cart was also up as well. The add to cart there's almost a 27% change in add to cart rate. So what that's telling me as I'm looking at this data is users had an item still left in cart. When they saw that bar, they still added more items to cart and then continued their checkout process, rather than those users who had an item in cart came back to the site and then just maybe checked out with what was currently in their cart. So pretty
Yeah,
fascinating
and we've
results.
seen that like replicate those numbers into our revenue too, which has grown a lot, which is really amazing to see. And then I think honestly, off of that point as well, I totally forgot to mention this, but our paid media manager actually went in and did a A/B test on our product page for folks coming over from like Facebook or Meta ads to show them a promotion. And taking a look at it in here, we're doing like a 50% of control versus promo. And the people who have got like received the promo service with like a cute little sale icon and then just some copy of, whatever the percentage is off your first purchase with the code, we've seen an increase in 11% add to cart percent change from control versus from the people seeing the because ad, which is huge because with CBD like promotions and everything on, Meta and other paid sites, getting the customers to our site is one thing, but getting them to convert is another. So this effort of like seeing that 11% is such a big thing for us. And those are new customer acquisitions coming through. And then we're able to just keep nurturing them throughout their journey and keep them around longer.
I'd love to learn more about some of the lessons that you've learned and then how that informs your future plans. So you've shared so many lessons so far, but any interesting takeaways that might be helpful to other direct-to-consumer brands in terms of implementing or using because for some of their conversion rate optimization to see the lift in AOV, the lift in add to cart, the lift in conversion rate?
Yeah, I think just it's kind of elementary to say it, but I think it is very important is to just make your because banners and whether it's a PDP placement, whether it's a collection page placement, an announcement bar, anything that you're planning to do with because the first and easiest step would be to marry your current promotional or product launch calendar. So it's actually something that we've implemented into all of our planning with upcoming product launches as well as upcoming promos in our project management software. Just like we have add a new product to a site or change out the hero image to reflect XYZ promo, we also now have add a because banner wherever that lives, because that is going to follow the customer all throughout their journey on the site. Whether we change our focus on the homepage to something else or not, they're still going to be notified hey, this is what's happening right now, and it's going to just go throughout them, whether they're on a product page or a collection page or the homepage or wherever.
I love it. That is a great idea. Makes a lot of sense. And lastly, any advice that you might give to other brands considering any tool for conversion rate optimization or personalization, and of course, in particular, because?
Yeah, I think the biggest advice would be test everything. You don't really know. Coming into this, Mark would be let's A/B test this. And I'm just oh, here we go. We're going to A/B test something else again. But lo and behold, I was fooled. I thought I knew the customers would green versus yellow, but I didn't know. I was wrong. And you learn something new every day, and it's very humbling. And I think it's just realizing, honestly, I feel I've said this so many times during this call, not every customer, the shoe doesn't fit all. So A/B testing it all and seeing what works for your customer and what doesn't work. And then being open to trying new things. So just on a call yesterday, we were talking as a team, how do we streamline our badge process with the site We actually have a call with this next week with Mark, and he just doesn't know what it's about yet. But we are talking about how do we streamline this process of having badges that aren't overwhelming to the customer when they're on like a shop all page or a different collection where every product has a badge and they're having to stop and read all the badges and see what works for them. And we're actually going to hopefully switch over to because badges, because, with internal insight, if we put our own badges up, it'll slow down our site and it won't be customizable to the customer. We really want badges to be meaningful to a customer, whether they're coming from an affiliate site, whether they're coming from an ad, whether they've taken our quiz. We just want the content on our site to run up to what the customer journey should be. Outside of just testing everything, is just also try new things and see what because can do for you. I think dynamic content these days for conversion is very, very important. Making sure your customer is seeing only really what they want to see. They don't want to be served the same thing that everybody else is being served. So being mindful of that and setting up your site and executing it in a way that makes them feel special and unique. And you can do that with all of your data points that you have in whatever software you're using. We're using Klaviyo. We segment those folks out and we pull it into because, and that's how our customers get that more dynamic experience.
I mean, Catherine, you've hit it spot on. I think the biggest and best advice for any new tech, but especially because tech, because I used to be on the brand side. I know you guys know that, but those that are watching may not know that. I was on the brand side, and I carved out time in my week to play around with because it's a new tool. It's like everybody's really familiar with ESPs, your email service provider, and SMS providers. You've got your Klaviyos, your Attentives, your Postscripts, whatever, and that tech is familiar to everybody, and it's really easy to add that into the marketing plans because it's so much like brushing your hair and brushing your teeth. It's just part of your daily routine. But when you add a new service, like because oftentimes the website's forgotten about in general, right? All of us marketers can kind of maybe speak to that, knowing what's ours, where we run a promo and we go to development real quick and go, oh, hey, shoot, so sorry, we're running a flash sale. Can you get this message up on site today? And maybe brands have gotten a lot better and teams are better at that stuff. But with because, it's like adding because into that planning cycle of like, what's the email going out? What's the SMS going out? What's the because campaign messaging? And having that all together so it's like truly in lockstep is probably the best advice I can give to anybody watching. But then also just like, truthfully, just spend time in the app. There's so much in there, and that's how I became an expert at the app myself, and how I ended up in this role is like once a week I just would spend time kind of stress testing it. What can I do? How far can I go in the rule sets? What new Klaviyo segment can I create to show unique messaging on site? Like one of my favorite campaigns I ran on the brand side was tying into a Klaviyo segment of people who hadn't purchased in the last 90 days. And then I did unique messaging on site to that specific user group to kind of get a good understanding of like what's preventing these people from, they're obviously on site, but why aren't they purchasing? So A/B testing that and just seeing like, okay, what can we do to get these repeat visitors into repeat customers again? There's so much potential, but it really is one of those fun tools. You just got to play around with it, and you got to just add it into your marketing tech stack and marketing planning.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, tech stack, just add it in and just like explore with it. I think last thing I'll add is that because this isn't like a one solve like application, like there's just so many things that you can do for it, like do with it, and it's so universal. So implementing it into your tech stack and into your routine will definitely boost like conversion, add to cart, revenue, all of it. So you just have to, like Mark said, play around with it, find what fits you and your customer, and just make it a part of your everyday.
Totally. Free money on the table. Book a demo for free. Free trial 14 days. Trybecaus.com. And Katherine, where can we check out the work you've done with Cornbread?
Yeah, cornbreadhemp.com. Check us out. Take the quiz. It's up in the top right-hand corner. You can kind of see how the quiz cookies follow you through with our Because banners. And you'll see a lot more to come from us with Because badges, all of that jazz over the next few months for sure.
Totally. I need some sleep help too. Katherine, Mark, thank you so much for your time and sharing your expertise.
Yeah, thank you.